Yeah. Okay, we're on.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Alan Hoyle. I'm currently Chair of Ministry and Personnel at Trinity. And with me today is Ian Thompson, who is Secretary of Council. And we're here to provide you an update about our current situation, specifically around COVID-19 and our reopening plans. The reopening team was struck about 2 months ago, and it includes Ian, myself, and Reverend Linda. We work with the leadership team and liaise with other folks in the congregation as necessary. In these times of COVID-19, as much guidance and support as possible is what we've been looking for. And we've been working closely with the United Church of Canada, with Shining Waters, with public health, and our governments to really achieve our overarching goal. And the overarching goal in these days is safety. Safety for our congregants, safety for our staff, and helping to ensure safety in the broader community. Ian?
We have been, what we're going to talk about briefly is where we've been, where we are now, and where we're going to be headed as we go forward. So Alan, I'll put it back to you.
Sure. Where we've been, I think everybody knows that the church has been closed to worship and closed period since March. We have been doing successful online worship. It's been a joy to see how we've managed to transition from in-person to that online service on Sundays. And there's been a variety of meetings across the internet, specifically on Zoom, which is a platform most of us didn't even know existed before COVID, but we've learned very quickly. And additionally, there's been a series of different personal reach outs to individuals in the congregation. Ian?
So where we are right now is we're planning for reopening in September, and that is when we return in September. That's going to look much different than what we're used to. So we're just going to talk for a few minutes about what the service might look like and how you can prepare for attendance. So Alan, I understand that we're limited in the number of people that can come to a service.
Yeah.
How are we going to manage that?
So you're right, Ian. There's certainly a limit on how many people can attend, and that's mandated by the provincial government. But additionally, we have to ensure physical distancing and safety of movement within the building. So things are going to look a little differently. The pews will be marked off for seating, and seating which will not be allowed because it's too close. And that'll be the first thing. Secondly, there'll be directional arrows throughout the building that will provide assistance with movement. And additionally, because the number of attendees at the church will be significantly less than what we're used to, people who are going to attend a Sunday service need to book that attendance ahead of time through the church office, and we'll track it. And when we get to the maximum number, that'll be the service for the Sunday.
Okay. What sort of PPE equipment will people attending need?
That's a really good question, Ian, and certainly in line with provincial law now. Actually York Region law, that any gatherings inside, people have to wear masks, and that will be the first requirement for the service. Secondly, we will be having folks sanitize their hands upon entry to the church, which will help to eliminate any potential problems.
Can people bring their own masks, or are they provided, or what's happening there?
People will bring their own masks. We'll certainly have a few available, And if folk forget it or don't have one, we can certainly provide a mask upon entry.
Okay. So I think that sort of explains what it'll be like when you first come to the service. Some of the things that we're used to in our service, one is passing of the peace.
Right, and there's lots of things that we have been used to that we can't do, specifically in the first stage of reopening. So there won't be a passing of the peace. There won't be hymn singing, because certainly when you sing, the potential to spread the virus is much higher. We'll certainly have soloists, and we'll have music, and from the front, all ensuring physical distancing as well. But there'll also be no cash collection, just for the same reasons. And I think that sort of covers that, Ian. I don't know if I missed anything.
I'm just thinking of the hymn books and the Bibles sitting in the racks in the pews. What would happen with those?
Well, they won't be there, because we can't ensure that they're cleaned after each service. And that's the other thing we probably should talk a little about, is that there will be deep cleaning. We're not sure exactly what deep cleaning means, but it will be a thorough sanitizing clean of all the pews and any touched surfaces in the church after each service. And we'll do our best to ensure that there are no germs, viruses on those surfaces. The other thing we haven't talked about yet, Ian, and we probably should, is that social gatherings at the church won't be starting on September 13th. We'll wait for provincial and municipal guidance in terms of when they might happen, but things like coffee time won't be there, the nursery won't be open, just the church, there won't be church school, so that we limit that close contact between people, at least for the short term. These are not permanent changes, Ian. They're for the short term. Yeah, you know.
And meetings and so on will continue on Zoom?
Yeah.
Rather than on site?
It's been sort of fun to experience Zoom, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, we can be anywhere we need to be and hop on a Zoom meeting, and there's no driving back and forth, and it's nice. We do miss the personal contact, but this is a good alternative.
And you now know that my cottage kitchen is green.
I do, yes, and you know that. Well, it's not there now, but there used to be an 8-foot cross behind me.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and there'll be more on that later, folks, when we do get back to the building. I don't know, Ian, does that sort of cover it for a first update to folks?
Yeah, I think so. There was just a comment about it's each person's individual responsibility to self-select whether they should be coming to church or not.
Yeah, and that's a prayerful decision that everyone has to make, and to spend some time in prayer and decide, is it safe for you as an individual to go back? And you know, we all have to make that decision. The one thing we didn't say, Ian, is that the tenants have returned to the lower level.
That's right.
Yeah, so PKD and Next Steps are in, and they've been responsible for the cleaning so far, and it's been going okay, I would say.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're dealing with the regular cleaning, and if visitors come to the church, how does that work?
That's another good question, because the church office at some point will be physically open. It is open now for phone calls and emails, and we're certainly managing that flow of information. Something that we will be doing, starting two things we'll be doing starting immediately, is first of all, everyone to the church will be logged in with a phone number. We have to do this in order to ensure that we can provide the information to public health should it be needed. If there's someone that's diagnosed with COVID in our congregation, and then we can contact, public health can contact everyone who's been at the church. So that log will begin immediately upon reopening. And the second log will be every cleaning process will need to be logged. And that'll be constant and just a continual flow. Whenever there's a cleaning process, it has to be logged so that we know what's been done and where.
Great. Okay.
Again, Ian, we said at the beginning of our discussion, and you summarized it nicely at the end too, but it really is about ensuring safety for everyone in the building. And it'll be a bit strange to wear a mask and face shields for some of the staff and things like that. But having said that, we'll be back together.
Yeah, that's what's important. Yeah.
So I guess, Ian, we want to make sure everyone knows we're going to continue with these video clips, and we will provide you with another update in the not too distant future. And at some point before September 13th, we will be hopefully getting into the church and videotaping what it might look like in this sort of temporarily new reality. And that'll be available too. So we've got lots of plans to communicate with the congregation. And the other thing is that some of these salient points we're going to put into a notice, and that will be printed, and folks that don't have access to computer technology can then read these salient points.
Great. Okay, I think that's it then.
I think so.
Yeah.
Everyone, have a wonderful weekend, and your reopening team will be back in the next few weeks with another update for you.